Kevin Friend blows the whistle, and the 2019 FA Cup final is underway. Watford will look for Deeney with every opportunity and try and feed off their talismanic captain. That was just a bit overcooked for him.
Just interesting to see where Pereira's going to play, whether he's going to play wide left or just in behind Deeney. Deulofeu's certainly come to the right-hand side. Pereira's on the left at the moment.
Well, they still find a bit of space behind him with Sterling. Zinchenko wins the game's first corner. Corners might play a big part. Watford will feel that might represent a good route. So they've got to defend this early set piece, which will be taken for City by İlkay Gündoğan. No Fernandinho, still not fit. Kevin De Bruyne is on the bench. He's way back from injuries, had a wretched season in that respect. Early test for Aurelio Gomez, who started to come and left it to his defenders. The flag didn't go up, and Watford do go upfield with Deulofeu. Calmly by Zinchenko, and City trying to regain their shape. David Silva's ability to keep the ball and do that sort of thing gave them a bit of time, but it was a snappy break.
Well, one Deulofeu should have made more of. With his pace, I thought he was going to run with the ball. Instead, try to pass it, didn't quite get it right.
Gündoğan. Kyle Walker, always interesting to see how Pep Guardiola deploys his fullbacks. He lets them go into midfield, often quite narrow as Walker went there. Watford will expect Manchester City to have the lion's share of the ball. What they do when they intercept like that by Coupe, their player of the season. Deulofeu, Coupe, nice footwork. Mania, he's given it away. Sterling can't get it. Even for the most experienced of players, these are tense early moments with the trophy on the line. Clark goes long. Company leaves it. Edison played in all of the Premier League games. He's played in all of the FA Cup games as well. No rotation in that respect, unlike Watford.
They're certainly not going to press the ball high up the field, Watford. Going to play with a midfield five when Man City have the ball. Just leave Deeney up front by himself.
Deulofeu checking out to the right. Allows Hughes to operate a little bit more infield, which he would prefer to do in truth. He's played a lot on the right this season. He's had a good season. And Watford have had generally, they just tailed away as teams often do, and they knew they were safely into the FA Cup final. Walker. Laporte, all his goals for City have been headers. Couldn't keep the attempt to change that down.
Well, when he got the ball, with space in front of him, I wonder if the bench were saying for him not to shoot, as they did Company the other day. When he gets underneath that one, not a particularly good effort from Man City's #1 centre-half this season.
Now, Javi Gracia has spotted something because he's called Deeney over to him. Your picture, and he's trotted back and said anything to anybody else. I knew it was about Deeney himself. He wants to get this. Flick on. Cleared by Company. Two rugged characters in direct opposition to skippers. He is beaten and needed Walker to cover him behind. Touch by Doucouré, it's an athletic midfield player. Olivas, so distraught at that red card last Sunday. Doucouré, down by David Silva. Gabriel Jesus. Zinchenko. Often the pace of Manchester City's passing that sort of shows you what mood that they're in. They want to use it as quickly and as crisply as possible. Gundogan.
Just wonder how enthusiastic Delafeu will be to keep chasing Zinchenko back. That's about the third time Zinchenko's got forward.
Walker found by Riyad Mahrez. He's kept his place. Bernardo Silva. Cross comes in, and a bit of concern for Watford that David Silva, who got across his man, didn't really make any meaningful contact. Actually hasn't scored a goal, David Silva, in this calendar year. Going on for 30 games now. Bit of a surprise, given that Manchester City score so many goals.
There again, Deeney winning the ball in the air, that time against Walker. Watch out for the forward runs of Doucouré as well. He's almost in the centre-forward position at the moment.
Here's Kiko Femenia. Zinchenko deflecting across, loops up, and there's some positive with it. What he's put Bernardo Silva in trouble. Watford trying to press high this time, and ball is given Kevin Friend.
He's going to have a good game, Coupe, in that central midfield area. Just handballs here flying into the challenge.
Fans playing a massive part in the really bristling atmosphere here. It's a terrific backdrop, but they might be disappointed now. Cathcart gets it away in the end.
Well, Cathcart and Doucouré just lost the run there.
Gabriel Jesus, who is the proverbial fox in the box. 19 goals for City this season, but only 7 of them in the Premier League. He's not so many opportunities. Aguero, of course, leading the way. Here comes Sterling. Is he get there? Gomez took a chance. He's got back on his feet. The referee had a good look across at his assistant on the far side to see whether that had gone out of play, but he sort of swatted it back, Aurelio Gomez. Could have left him high and dry, but it didn't.
First signs that Manchester City starting to just find one or two spaces. The run of Bernardo Silva a few minutes ago, then the run of Sterling.
There is Sterling. So he tried to get it back. And referee getting in the way. City come again. Zinchenko. Remind you that VAR is in operation here. David Silva, and no need to have a look at anything there because Sterling couldn't collect it.
Well, Bernardo Silva was the one that made the run in behind what seems to be a man marker at times with Doucouré. Watch how he just runs in behind him. Doucouré doesn't see it. It's a good cutback, but Cathcart was up for it. Looks as though he's got a big role, Doucouré. When Man City have got the ball, he's got to go and mark Bernardo Silva. When they get these sort of goal kicks, he's got to run beyond Troy Deeney. It's a big job for the midfield man.
Yeah, so there's a very interesting article from him in one of the papers this morning saying, look, everyone knows I can run about a bit, but I am a bit more than that. He's going to be all sorts today, Abdoulaye Doucouré. Zinchenko and David Silva. Laporte's had an outstanding season. Company still going strong. Clever play from Mahrez. There's a corner. Cathcart needed again.
Big worry for Watford there. Look how easy it was for Mahrez to go beyond Holibas. Little step over. Good cross into the 6-yard box, but Cathcart, good positioning.
More pressure in these early minutes from the winners of the Premier League, the winners of the League Cup. Now looking to nail down the FA Cup and this extraordinary treble. Never been done before in English football. Few have come close. But there's space here for Watford. Pereira's in the middle, found by De La Feu. Watford have got a great chance here. Edison smothers it. The danger not past Manchester City yet, but it has now. And Manchester City were opened up, and Roberto Pereira found himself one-on-one with the goalkeeper.
Let's give a bit of credit to Edison as well. There's the counter-attack. That's what they've been looking for. Doucouré with the ball down the line. He times the pass and the weighted it perfectly. The first touch is a good one as well. And he's trying to deceive Edison by putting it into the other corner. Just comes off his leg. Big, big chance. And exactly the way that Watford want to play this game.
Here's Mahrez again. Walker. Gabriel Jesus just made a little run there. Would have been onside, I think, but Walker looked further afield. Laporte. Mahrez. Bernardo Silva wants it. He gets it on his good left foot. And really Watford a bit slow to react there. He didn't connect as he has done many times, Bernardo Silva.
He's found that bit of space, this time short of his marker. Goes between the legs of Doucouré, but an easy save for Aurelio Gomez. Watch the run of Doucouré again.
Touching in by Company. Gundogan. Zinchenko. Gundogan's pass sucked Femenia in, but reached its target. Clever ball. Gundogan again. David Silva. Watford straining again. Back in numbers, but it didn't look the strongest back line. There's already a sharpness about this FA Cup final. Quality sprinkled over it, and it's not all from Manchester City. Despite the majority of possession. Mahrez whips it in. Work for Craig Cathcart to do, the Northern Ireland international.
That's 3 or 4 good clearances he's made now, Cathcart.
Laporte. All behind the ball for Watford. Walker. Recognise the City players that Mahrez has got Watford dancing a little bit to his tune, and here's Bernardo Silva. It's that man Cathcart again. And here come Watford. And Kevin Frienders, whether he's given the foul or whether he's concerned about the injury. De La Feu wanted to play on even though his team were a man down. That's Javi Gracia to a tee. Cool as a cucumber, and Troy Deeney takes a bit of hurting. It's caught by Laporte.
Yeah, just a little bit late, Laporte. It's not a bad challenge. Deeney tried to make the most of it. It's a foul, yep. When De La Feu first picked up the ball, I thought he had a chance to knock it past Company and run. Instead he slowed down and eventually played it out wide.
And towards Deeney, as you'd expect. Smacked away by Zinchenko, by Mariappa. Huge mistake. And here's Gabriel Jesus. Lost his balance and then lost the ball.
It's a big call by Pep Guardiola to play Jesus. I'd say he's had the best of seasons. Aguero's been in great form.
It's interesting that he's stuck with Gabriel Jesus, who has started all the FA Cup games, but not Otamendi, who's played every minute of the FA Cup. back on the bench. Obviously with Company Laporte and the main men. I think that's out of respect, no disrespect to Otamendi, but out of respect to Troy Deeney. Mahrez again.
Well, he's asking for a bit of help from Pereira there. Too easy for the ball to be played out to Mahrez. Olivas is having to tuck in alongside his centre halves, and he's got a long way to go and close down Mahrez.
Well, we've seen it for 11 years with Manchester City. Company going towards the near post, but it's a deeper one. Gomez gets to it. Partially away by Doucouré. Wide by David Silva. This is where Watford are being stretched. Mahrez running low, cleared by Coupe. Showing you can defend by simply just keeping the ball, which was very cool in the circumstances in that particular part of the pitch.
Yeah, the play you pass it to was Deeney, was just outside his own box there. Didn't have time to get up the field.
Watford will have worked on this, being penned in. Zinchenko.
Looks as though he's changed Pereira and Delafeu over. They've just swapped sides for the moment.
Another Mahrez cross, and Firmino told by Gomez, even in this deafening noise, let it go. But Mahrez is the outball for Manchester City in the attacking third.
But there's the man that's made the all-important save, albeit with his right foot. Wasn't a good ball from Zinchenko. There's the counter-attack. Doucouré just bends it down the line. And what a good ball it was from Delafeu. He did everything right to start with. Pereira, good first touch. He knows exactly what he wants to do, but he's out very quick. Ederson looks one way and tries to bend it in the other corner.
Wedged away by Walker, not particularly accurately. Mariappa. Gets across. And Watford know that their moments will be restricted. Keep defending. Could be enough, but we would be surprised if that was the case. Manchester City invariably score 163 goals in all competitions this season. This is their 61st match.
Well, he has got a long throw, Olivas. Don't usually expect him to throw it from the middle of the opposition's half, but that's what he's going to do here.
And it gets to Deeney. Worry Manchester City, and the clearance only goes as far as Firmino.
I think Deeney was shocked the ball came to him into his body so easily.
He wouldn't expect that in a match of this magnitude against teams in the Premier League who get tight on him. To have somebody in front of him, maybe it just dropped for him.
They'll be a little bit worried by that, Pep Guardiola, but that's how Watford got back into the game against Wolves in the semi-final. A long throw in. Ball bounced around and eventually Delafeu bent it into the far corner.
Gomez goes long, it's over Deeney. I've seen a few goalkeepers caught out this season. And the coaches say, well, I tell them to play from the back, so we've got to live with that. But you don't want to live with that on a day like today.
I'm not sure Ederson's been one of those. He's been magnificent with the ball this season. Alisson is a very good goalkeeper for Liverpool, but he's made one or two mistakes with the ball at his feet.
He has, but he has won the Golden Glove in the Premier League, one more clean sheet than Ederson. They're keeping one on the last Sunday of the Premier League season, and to Wolves. Edison were beaten by the veteran Brighton striker Glenn Murray.
Delafeu now back out on the right-hand side.
Gundogan. Well, scored in the 4th minute here to win the semi-final. It was the only goal in that match. Manchester City was against Brighton, the team that they beat again last Sunday to win the Premier League. Mariappa up towards Dini, barrels into Laporte to make sure it drops for Delafeu. Hughes is with it. Delafeu ignores it. Pereira, Hughes. Manchester City with a shot from Doucouré, and they've gone to the referee. Watford complaining there was a handball used there, and whether we'll get some VAR on that. The complaints have gone out of order from Doucouré.
He's the player that's been booked for his argument with the referee. But again, good play from Watford. Started off with Dini win it. Pereira lays it to Doucouré. Which hand does it hit?
Well, it came up and hit the other hand, maybe hit both.
Well, it hits the arm that's sticking out, but...
Well, it's a no from VAR, which tends to remind you that we'll still have debates over football decisions, whether we have VAR or not. Here's Bernardo Silva. Watford frustrated. Mahrez looking to give them defensive problems again. It's awkward for Gomez. Very awkward. The whistle is gone. Sterling penalised. They are a small side, aren't they? Certainly in the attacking area, looking for crossing. You see 3 or 4 in the box, but it's got to be so precise.
Well, usually crosses where they do well, and then they're bent in behind a high line. Here's the save.
Yeah, on the ground, yeah. Well, Sterling gets a lot of goals like that. But
I'm not sure he does too much wrong here, Sterling. He's up against 3 players. Gomez doesn't win it. Hughes is caught underneath it. Maybe he just puts his arm. He's actually turning away. He could have headed that into the goal, Sterling, if he'd have been a bit braver there.
Halfway through the first half. It's brewing up nicely. Manchester City 0, Watford 0.
Silly yellow card for Doucouré because he's a player that...
He might make a tackle and misjudge it.
To be at his best, he's got to make tackles. He's got to get around the pitch. He's a high-energy player.
Most teams would like to play against Manchester City with 12 men, not 10. 11's hard enough. Mahrez. Walker. Mahrez again. Company. Who's centre-backs, look how far forward they are. Watford sit in. Laporte. Gabriel Jesus, now Sterling, Zinchenko, Sterling forced back, and again he gets round Delafeu and fronts up Watford. Raheem Sterling here, who spent a fair part of his childhood not too far away from here, in the Wembley area. Forked out semi-final tickets for his old school. Bernardo Silva. Gabriel Jesus on the turn. Corner for Manchester City.
Well, I wonder if when the ball came to Bernardo Silva, he couldn't have taken a touch and shot himself. Plays a difficult ball in to Jesus. He does well to turn. Mariappa, the player with the block. Watford very aware that at times Man City will go short with their corners. Zinchenko on the edge of the box is lurking as well.
2 against 2 is one thing, but 3 against 2, which it was there. Perfection by Coupe. Oh, look where Edison finds himself. does superbly. Mahrez, Hughes will pick it off. Coupe backing himself on the ball, but he's lost out. And here's Sterling. David Silva jumping. And they'll get it back again. And David Silva puts Manchester City in front with his first goal of 2019. But what a time to come up with it. Coupe was at the heart of it, unfortunately for Watford, losing possession, and they never really regained their shape or their composure. And David Silva, the veteran, one of those who won the Cup the last time they won it in 2011, makes it 1-0 to City.
There's where Coupe loses the ball, gets a bit scrappy afterwards, and there's a question mark whether David Silva was offside. Very tight decision, but he wasn't offside. The foot of Cathcart was keeping him onside. From that view there, well played Sterling to head it back into the danger area.
And the foot of Femenia made sure it went in unwittingly. But it's David Silva's goal, and Manchester City close in on the treble.
Not quite sure Gomez got his angles quite right there. He gave a lot of the far post for David Silva to aim at.
And the touch actually just changed the altitude rather than the latitude. Well, they were behind against Wolves. They were behind 2-0 and they found an escape route. So the game's not up for Watford by any means, but here comes Zinchenko. Manchester City visibly encouraged. Just at a time where, getting towards the half-hour mark, where possession play hadn't made too much. Sterling. And here's Zinchenko, not pressed. Knocked out by Pereira. The original shot was controlled by Sterling, who thought he might be in. The shot was on target, we'll see from this angle.
Yeah, it certainly was on target. He actually did well to get it under control. Watford thought he was offside, but I don't think he was. We've got a great position here, as we had for the goal as well. But you have to give credit to Sterling, winning the ball in the air, good header in behind Femenia.
Gundogan's corner, Gomez reaching it. It only comes out as far as Riyad Mahrez, who likes to do that. It's the inverted winger we see so often now. Left footers on the right like Mahrez, right footers on the left. It suits that kind of situation, but he couldn't keep his shot down.
When he's on form, Mahrez, in that season where he won the title, or helped to win the title for Leicester, that would have hit the back of the net. Now problems for Javi Gracia.
Well, he would have said, what chances we get, we've got to take. Well, they've had one-on-one with the goalkeeper in a central position from one of their better players. In fact, we talk about David Silva not having scored in 2019. Roberto Pereira hasn't scored in 2019. One's ended his drought and the other hasn't. That's the story of the Cup final so far. It's number 19, Will Hughes. City push up. Gomez won't reach Deeney that time. Hughes goes down. David Silva judged to be responsible for that.
I don't think Watford will take this quickly. They'll let their centre-halves go up. Cathcart, Mariappa, get Deeney in a good position. Doucouré also good in the air. This is what they've been working at all week, how they can make the most of these dead ball situations.
You'd be very surprised if it didn't involve Troy Deeney, but possibly as a decoy, but unlikely. He goes up. It was put into just those areas that I'm sure Stuart's right, that they spent a lot of time working on the training ground. trouble. And here with Coupe. Midfield player caught in possession, and it cost them 1 goal. Again, and here comes City in the space now for Raheem Sterling. Set up David Silva again. Gabriel Jesus settles for it going out for the throw.
That time the player to give the ball away was Delafeu, and the ball was played into him by Coupe. He's got a busy afternoon, the right back for Watford. He's having to cope with Sterling, he's having to cope with Zinchenko getting forward as well.
Hughes. Quartet of City players around him, and one of them, Gundogan, gave it away. Here is Doucouré. Forces his way past Company. Remember, it's their 5th visit to Wembley this season. They played their away game against Spurs here before they went to the new stadium for that Champions League away game. Jose Helebas disputing this.
And he thought it was his throw, and it probably was. But we've already really seen one Watford player booked for arguing with the referee. Don't want to see another one. Still having a go.
Just to remind you of those previous stats at Wembley this season for Manchester City, no goals conceded in 4 games, included a Carabao Cup, League Cup success after a goalless draw with Chelsea after extra time, which was won on penalties. Kevin Friend is not a referee to be trifled with. He's not likely to say, oh, this is a different occasion, I can maybe soften my attitude a little bit. So I've seen already that he's treating it just like another game. Gundogan, Bernardo Silva and Gabriel Jesus making the same run or into the same area.
Brilliant from Mariappa. Got round on the cover, got the tackle in. We talked about Cathcart, but Mariappa's done a good job in that centre-half position as well.
Watford through and through. Mariappa, but he did have a small spell away at Crystal Palace when he played in the Cup final 3 years ago and were beaten by Manchester United. And he's facing Manchester City, and Riyad Mahrez's touch there was not what he wanted. Walker takes it on. That driving power that he possesses. Mahrez. Bernardo Silva. The flag ran up a bit late. We've talked about this before, Stuart. They're told not to flag straight away, but there's always the risk that something might happen to injure a goalkeeper in that kind of situation. Gomez unharmed, but it's coming together that could have been stopped by an earlier flag.
This is that tackle by Mariappa. Jesus thinks he's getting onto it to score. Brilliant from the centre-back. He has to get this absolutely right.
Bernardo Silva was thinking he might get onto it and score.
Got to get closer to Deeney's knockdowns. He's not going to head them 15, 20 yards on. Going to be in around that area that he's jumping for. Delafeu, Pereira, Doucouré, all got to be close on hand.
Here is Alexander Zinchenko's only ever been on the losing side once in over 40 games in the first team for Manchester City. Won all his Premier League matches. Laporte. Important for Watford, you feel that they're not breached again before half-time. Mahrez, breaching in mind. Tossed in by Walker. And Gomez leaving it to Will Hughes.
The thing about those crosses that are coming to this near side, the two players that are having to attack it for Watford aren't the biggest players either. Will Hughes in the near. Mahrez is getting a lot of ball and he's going to keep whipping those crosses in. That time it was Walker.
Corner for Manchester City. 10 minutes to go to half-time. They're already 1 up. Laporte knocks it back. Back by Jesus. Coupe doesn't really clear it. Jesus wants to get involved again in this outside the penalty area. He'd love to be closer to the box to finish a chance rather than help create one. Company. Walker. Mahrez again at pace.
It's almost impossible for Hollybass to get tight to him. The position that Mahrez takes up, the way he has to tuck next to his centre-half, Hollybass, and they keep switching the play out to Mahrez.
Walker finding a gap for Zinchenko. Ooh, there's a deflection on that from Mariappa.
When he plays for the Ukrainian national side, he plays in central midfield. That's where he was originally bought for, to play at Man City.
In a bit of a problem position, left back. Mendy's still injured. David Silva. Done by Deeney this time. Use Laporte at left back sometimes as well. Maybe in Delph's had a spell in there, but not recently. Absolutely vital for Watford. Defend this properly. Out by Coupe. A little deft flick from David Silva. Gundogan gives it back to him. Gives it back to Gundogan. Munir gets it away. Walker. This is Bernardo Silva. It's a clever ball, and it's 2-0. Gabriel Jesus probably put it over the line. And the worst for Watford, really, to concede a second. And Javi Gracia looks down at the grass as if to say, well, that might be that. Can they pull a rabbit out of the hat like they did in the semi-final? He's done what he did in the semi-final, which is score at Wembley.
But this is what we're talking about. Those crosses bent from the far side, in behind the back line of Watford. Does really well at the far post. Jesus just gets enough on it. Sterling, does it go over the line? Oh, I'm not sure. But it's a brilliant ball played from the far side of the field, in behind the fullback. Gomez starts to come and doesn't make it.
Jesus is like a proper striker is saying, that's my goal. But Sterling couldn't resist it, and why not? We had one of those way back. Your old club Arsenal had one in the cup final. They tried to work out whether it was Brian Talbot or not. But
well, that's one for goal line technology.
Here come Manchester City again. If it's not Sterling's, he's going to try and get one. I'll set up another, and Watford are on the ropes now. Mahrez, and Gomez keeps it at 2.
Brilliant from Mahrez. One or two of his teammates are moaning for not cutting it back. But the way he threatens to play it with his left foot and drags it back across onto his right. No thought other than try and hit the far post. Unfortunately, hits it straight at Gomez. So an easy save for the goalkeeper in the end.
They've worked a short corner here, Manchester City. gets it away. Deulofeu, a foul, and it's been pointed out, I think by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, that Manchester City are very good at these technical fouls, stopping counter-attacks. City bridled at that. It was before the derby in April, wasn't it? And but that was one such tactical foul.
Here's the ball. Bernardo Silva. What a pass that is. Gomez makes it a little bit easier for Jesus by starting to come. He just needs to let his defender try and deal with that. Once he starts to come, he leaves the goal open. It's a good touch from Jesus. Ooh, it's a tight one.
Edison is out. As Watford. Dini tried to hit back. Yeah, if I was Sterling, I think I'd be saying, that's mine.
Look how many passes Manchester City have made compared with that of Watford. But they have had one or two chances, Watford, or one in particular, on the counter-attack. 2-0 down, it's going to be very difficult for them now.
Still added time, 5 minutes left in this first half, and Manchester City are in the mood. They've got all the momentum. Has had a torrid time really against Mahrez. That miss, or shall we say the save by Edison from Pereira, does look a pivotal moment in the story of this match, certainly in the story of the first half anyway.
Given Watford greater encouragement to hang on, something to defend. They've just lost their way in the last 10 minutes or so since that first goal. Cathcart keeps asking Doucouré to come back and play even deeper. Cathcart's got to deal with the runners at times, otherwise they're going to be outnumbered in midfield. Cathcart's still moaning at Doucouré, wants him to come back and mark Jesus. Just got to deal with it himself.
Show me a centre-back who doesn't want an extra defender alongside him. Or maybe it is one. Company. Now Walker. Bernardo Silva. Manchester City in control of the FA Cup final. Zinchenko. Highest of high presses by Manchester City. Leads to Gundogan. Start manoeuvring. Doucouré couldn't leave a leg in there and risk a second yellow card. Gundogan. Sterling. Zinchenko, steer it in, cross. Gundogan. At the moment it's death by 1,000 passes, isn't it, for Watford?
They can't get close to anybody at the moment. They're sitting off, they're staying deep. No pressure really on the ball. Now there's a bit of pressure. Can they win it here? Yes, they can.
Shown just a couple of times. Pereira chance, the incident which they were sure was handball before he took his way into that yellow card. They've been scarce.
Well, he went very defensive right at the start of the game. Grazia decided to sit deep and try and play on the counter. It nearly worked for him. Now he's going to have to change the tactics in the second half.
What about Doucouré? Really trying to bulldoze her way through. The follow-up shot was from Hughes, and then Femenia. And Watford are going to end this first half with a corner. What they would give to end this first half with a goal from the corner.
What the neutral would give as well, I think. Make a real second half of it. Breathing very heavily there. Troy Deeney's done a lot of work trying to get up the field, jumping for a lot of balls in the air. Takes its toll on a big centre forward.
We talked about the lack of size of Manchester City. Watford with the tail of the tape, if you like. The taller team. Now is the time to put it to some advantage. Edison is really found himself being out-jumped. Lafeu to wriggle back in field. Still plenty of players forward for Watford. This is Olivas, charged down by Walker, come across with him. And Manchester City playing on the break. It's 3 against 3, but Walker needed a shout, really. Olivas, to his credit, got back. It has been a fast-paced first half, and significant moments in the end went Manchester City's way. David Silva ending a goal-scoring drought in a big game like this. Roberto Pereira wasn't able to do the same, and then Gabriel Jesus believes he got the whole of the ball over the line for number 2 before Raheem Sterling made absolutely sure. It's looking very good in the search for the treble. They lead at half-time in the FA Cup final against Watford by 2-0.
Well, Edison had a very good first half, but as it stands right now, City, as Martin Tyler mentioned there, on the cusp of the treble. We'll break down the first half when we come back.
No changes at half-time in terms of personnel anyway. Manchester City probably didn't want half-time to come. They were right in the mood. Here is Aymeric Laporte. It's a company maybe just 45 minutes away from getting his hands on yet another trophy. Mahrez.
Can't understand why Cathcart is playing as the spare defender. Bernardo Silva's going up against him. He's asking Doucouré to come back all the time. That's why they're being outnumbered in midfield. That's why it's difficult for them to press the ball. He's got to take some responsibility, Cathcart.
Pereira trying to take some responsibility, but Walker's got the pace. Has the nerve. There's usually somebody there to pass it to. 3 or 4 options. Doucouré. Deeney. Pereira. I think what Javi Gracia would be saying, look, let's see if we can get the next goal and take it from there.
Pereira had a chance there. When that ball was played to him, he had to sweep it goalwards first time. Instead he tried to pass it to Will Hughes. Big chance, I thought, for Pereira. Just to wrap his foot round that.
There's Hughes. That's a lovely change of direction by Sterling. He gallops into space. Jesus moving his way through. Good stop by Gomez. One Brazilian thwarts another.
Well, that was brilliant from Sterling. He changed the whole picture there by letting the ball run, turning away. Doucouré thought about having a little dig at him, but didn't. He picks the right pass. It's always going to be difficult for Mariappa, but 1v1. Jesus goes down the outside of him. And as you said, on this occasion, I think he tries to go between the legs of Gomez. Gomez just about gets them shut in time. It's the knee in the end.
Short corner by Gundogan. In by Zinchenko. Offside. Well, the flag is up anyway. We'll have learned to say it must be reviewed. Gabriel Jesus put that one away. similar to his heady goal in the semi-final.
Didn't look to be too many arguments. Yeah, standing a yard and a half offside there, as was Sterling.
VAR has completed its check. No goal.
Good technical header though.
Sterling beaten to it. Coming here. Watford have got 3 for a cross here, and Deeney saying, "Why didn't you hang it up for me?"
Well, I'm not sure that would have been a cross anyway. When he's running with the ball, it's very difficult to hang it up to the far post. He was looking, one or two of the players were looking for the cutback. There's Aguero. Surprised that he didn't start the game.
But Watford in again, and Manchester City haven't started the second half with a whole lot of defensive assurance. Watford, I'm sure, fortified by the memories of what happened in the semi-final.
If their final ball had been better in this first period of the second half, they'd certainly have one goal.
And he wins the header and gets it back again. Hughes barreling in. Gundogan, the danger for Watford. They're playing a little bit with their hearts over their heads now. But these cool Manchester City players will just pick them off on the break.
Good play from Morris. He wanted to play that quickly. He realised that Olivas had an injury, so he didn't play it. Just gave him a nudge there. Certainly no intent from Mahrez.
Olivas got injured actually in the semi-final. He didn't finish it. A hamstring problem.
And he's trying to claim that Mahrez meant that. Certainly didn't.
Walker, Riyad Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, worked it from right to almost left. Can be, that's why the old cliche is there. 2-0's a dangerous lead. Kevin De Bruyne, Leroy Sané, plenty to come on if Pep Guardiola wants to freshen up proceedings. Kafka, Olivas, kept it well. It's a bit wayward from Craig Kafka. Fanir will get there. It's 30 years since Watford last beat Manchester City. Always been in the same division. There've been a few cup games in time as well. Deulofeu having a go, having a right go. Pereira back for Deulofeu. Again, when Pereira might have tried the shot. Loss of confidence with the missed chance early on.
Well, he's a good player, Pereira, but his decision-making today hasn't been particularly good. He's done well there to win it back and win a free kick as well. But even then, when he played it into Deulofeu, Deulofeu tried to turn the wrong way as he was racing into the box. Great start from him. Does really well here. Gets away from Zinchenko, goes between the two Silvers. There's a good pass as well. Watch how he tries to turn the wrong way. There was no way he could go back across Laporte. If he tries to take his touch the other side of Laporte, every chance he could win a penalty.
Watford attacking the end behind which their supporters and making a right racket. Ederson wasn't sure, so he didn't need to be sure because Company was there. decisively. Very good header.
Really good header, because that was a delicious ball played into the box. Ederson, as you said, started to come.
Olivas with the position very similar to the first goal against Wolves at this end of the stadium, of course, following a long throw, clipped in by De La Feu in the end. Ederson decided to take charge, but Walker was up. Mariappa. Cathcart. Deeney. De La Feu. Good spell this for Watford. Can they crown it with a goal to get them back into the final? Shout for handball. And Trent unmoved. Here's Pereira. As always, it's the final pass, really. It was perfect for Pereira's chance early in the game. Just maybe tried one pass too many. A couple of other occasions, particularly at the start of this second period. De La Feu. Decore trying to get through.
The referee's given a foul. Decore making the run. He may well have been offside, but he's been penalised for pushing the back. But the start to the second half has made Pep Guardiola make the change here. And it's Mahrez, the player that looks to be coming off.
Probably at half-time he would have been thinking, I've done all right here, I'm not going to be taken off before it's 10 minutes gone in the second half, but off he goes. Bernardo Silva will go into his role. The sympathy from Raheem Sterling. Dent to Mahrez's pride, but Guardiola wanting to get the influence of Kevin De Bruyne into the game. He's had a very unlucky season with injuries. I was speaking to his international manager Roberto Martinez before the game. He said he's absolutely 100% fit now. You need to be playing the wide open spaces of Wembley.
Well, the change is Bernardo Silva has come to the right-hand side where Mahrez was playing. Sterling's going to stay on that left, and De Bruyne has gone where Bernardo Silva was playing. Well, he influenced the game, didn't he, in the first half? Not so much in the second. He wanted more control, Pep Guardiola, of the midfield area. That's why he's made the change.
Company has company. It's important for him in that situation. Including Kyle Walker here. Running just inside him. Bernardo Silva. Shuttled across by Watford's marking. Gundogan. De Bruyne has a wonderful cross through the ball. So again, it tested the touch of Cathcart. He's not been found wanting. He's defended superbly for the most part.
Yeah, he's defended his penalty box really well. I'm not sure in general play he's been quite so good, but that's a good block from him.
Going with the signal. Laporte did score at Brighton last week. All his goals have been away from the Etihad Stadium, all from set pieces, all headers.
And he's very good in the air. Just trying to head that back across. Beats Mariappa. I think he's good at everything at the moment, Laporte, from what we've seen this season. He had a couple of poor games in the Champions League against Spurs, but apart from that, he's been really top quality.
City just switched off for a moment, and again it was something that on another day, certainly on the semi-final day, would probably have gone in for De La Feu.
Well, you think back to the first half, David Silva, exactly the same sort of position. He was onside De La Feu, he's got that pace, he gets in behind Company. David Silva hits the target. De La Feu with a wild effort in the end. That's the pace that he's got.
And here come Watford again. Oh, and again, it's that slightly rushing the situation, as you can understand it. And they've got to get back at City soon, but they might find the game coming out of their control. A third would surely mean the treble, the domestic treble for Manchester City, the day of history. Giving him a bit of a look and maybe a word or two. And for City fans, the younger City fans, of course, they haven't known too much different to success after success, but the older fans are a more philosophical lot. They've been through some dark times. Now City find themselves almost in the position of being the team. It's the English way, isn't it? We build teams up, and that's going to be a booking surely for David Silva. He must have do that deliberately. He did.
Well, Will Hughes is away. Maybe this is one of those fouls that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was talking about. Just sticks out his arm there. You knew exactly what he was doing. Will Hughes was racing away, going towards the penalty box. But it's a free kick, and can they cause a problem here?
Well, I was going to say, Stuart, was in England we build things up. When they get successful, we admire them, but then we want them knocked off the perch. It's the natural way, isn't it? City top of several trees. But Watford not out of this yet. Jumping, drops for Deeney to a dangerous area. Good piece of filling in the centre of the defending there by Ilkay Gundogan. And Sterling is onside, he's put onside by Femenier. And it's De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne walks it in, and Manchester City are on the road to the treble. The third goal surely decides it. And Watford have been playing higher risk football, higher up the pitch, and there was a huge motorway of a road for City to stride into and take full advantage of that. And Kevin De Bruyne, who's been on the outside looking in for too much of this season, he will feel is centre stage here.
Well, could Gomez have come that little bit quicker? That was my first reaction. Sterling plays the ball round the corner here. And at that point, Gomez was outside his penalty box. Then he backed off. Great composure by Kevin De Bruyne. And an easy finish. Gomez had started to come, backed off. The pass is a good one. Gomez sells himself. Femenier's got no chance on the line. He's only been on a short time, but what great composure from Kevin De Bruyne. You don't expect anything different. That surely is the treble.
There's the man who sent him on to quick and spectacular results. The uphill battle has now become a mountain, and Watford's eagerness to try and make an imprint here, they could end up on one of the heavier scorelines, wrong end thereof.
Well, the start of the second half, they've actually been a threat. I thought they've played much better in the first 15 minutes of this second half. That's why Pep Guardiola had to make the substitution, or wanted to make the substitution. Got to keep their discipline now, Watford.
City crowd in full voice. And here's Kyle Walker. Sterling. Let's get it back again and again. Could be offside. It's reviewed again, but the game goes on. The flag didn't go up. Something we're going to have to get used to, Stuart, with the Premier League next season. There's other leagues where you ply your trade. They've been at it for a while, so you'll be better equipped to deal with the demands of VAR as a broadcaster than I am. But we'll have to learn and learn fast, as the players will.
It's not perfect, as it still means there's some different views between the VAR and the referee, but we will get more right decisions, that's for sure.
It's a brilliant ball by De Bruyne. He's involved again. Could have easily gone in for an own goal, and Watford have got numbers back now. Really Kevin De Bruyne not even letting Doucouré play it out with an ease.
Well, he's shown his quality now, Kevin De Bruyne. The noise inside the stadium is magnificent.
Yes, I do hope it's coming through to you wherever you're watching, because even by cup final standards, this is electrifying in terms of the atmosphere. But it's quiet now at the end, dominated by those in yellow shirts. I thought the way Watford started this second half, they might have a close-up view of another recovery. It's pretty unlikely now. The Blue Moon song echoing around Wembley. And here's Bernardo Silva. By his standards, had quite a quiet game. It's been exceptional. Gone from a squad man to almost the first pick this season.
And at the end of last season, when they bought Mahrez, I thought that Bernardo Silva would be the player that would struggle this year, but that hasn't been the case.
Andre Gray comes on for Gerard Deulofeu. And Isaac Success for Roberto Pereira.
Not one of his better games, Pereira. Had the big chance. I built him up before the game as the player that could catch Man City on the counter-attack with his running with the ball.
It's the traditional Manchester City celebration, turning your back on what is something you would never want to turn your back on, the quality of the team, but everyone gets it and does it. Poznan. And after Poznan and their supporters, who were spotted by City, they liked it in different times, I must say. Probably City at times then were worth turning your back on, but you wouldn't want to look away from them now for too long. They are magnificent. We tend to take it a bit for granted, Stuart. He was saying, oh, well, it's Watford. City are champions. Watford were champions of the lower half of the table. They finished 11th. Huge points difference, almost half as many points as Manchester City. But you've still got to go out there and do it on a big stage. The end of a sapping season where Pep Guardiola has a whip and he cracks it.
Well, I was here, as you were, a few years ago when Man City came to Wembley against Wigan in the Cup.
Here's Success. Comes off Company's head. Collected by Will Hughes. Yeah, the Wigan day, of course, might have been used as an example by Pep Guardiola. He wasn't the manager then. In fact, we didn't really know who the manager was. It was Roberto Mancini, but only for a few more hours, I think. And Wigan won a famous, one of the most famous suspected FA Cup successes. Gabriel Jesus is on here, and this is going to be number 4 for Manchester City. Yes! Jesus runs away. The goal will be subject to review with an offside call, but they're running riot here in the FA Cup final. Even Mike Summerby in his pop would have been proud of that one.
Well, the two front players link brilliantly here. Certainly no problem about it being offside. The timing of the pass, the timing of the run. Jesus with a good finish, just stopped his shot, waited for the goalkeeper to go down and then passed it beyond him. There's the moment where it all happened. Mariappa gets beaten by Jesus. Kevin De Bruyne realises the weight of the pass and the timing had to be right. He stops just here. And Gomez can't do anything about it. There's where he just sends the goalkeeper the wrong way and just rolls it underneath him. Brilliant from De Bruyne and Jesus. What a team Man City are.
I've got a question for you. Is he on a hat-trick?
Well, some of the stats people will say not at the moment, but we think he is.
Well, it's a big question because only one ever Wembley FA Cup final hat-trick, and that was in 1953 from Stan Mortensen of Blackpool.
And that cup final wasn't even named after him, was it?
No, it was the Matthews final, the other Stan. Here's De Bruyne. Coupe trying to stem the flow. Everyone wants getting on the act. Bernardo Silva. De Bruyne leaning back with the inevitable consequence. There's still more than 20 minutes to go.
Look at this for a bit of skill. Goes past some very tight tackles. Coupe can't get close. It's a tired finish in the end from Kevin De Bruyne on his left foot, just leaning back. You know exactly what he wants to do, bend it into that far corner. Watford are hanging on here.
4 years ago, it was Arsenal 4, Aston Villa 0. Manchester United in the 90s and the 80s had 4-0 wins. Chelsea in 1994 and a replay against Brighton in 83. Here comes Leroy Sané. There's no letting up from Pep Guardiola. Olivas takes. Ooh, and Ederson. Oh, he thought it was going to pass wide of the goal, then realised he had to play it. There's Olivas, Coupe, Doucouré with plenty of time for the cross. Comes out to Etienne Coupe, went to in the end to try and place it, I think.
You're absolutely right. He thought about hitting it with his laces, just opened up his foot and tried to bend it into the corner. And at that time, Man City got players out to block it. It's not just their football, it's also their defensive play of closing the ball down quickly.
It's the defence that's being challenged here by Doucouré from Hughes' little rolled pass. Well, they're caught between a rock and a hard place now, Watford, aren't they? I mentioned Aston Villa losing 4-0 to Arsenal. In that team was Tom Cleverley, and he comes on now for a second FA Cup final appearance. The score, as demoralising as it was when he was a Villa player, I think it was his last game for Aston Villa. Not because of that.
Gundogan is the player coming off. By the looks of it, from Man City.
Yeah, there was like 8 and 19, of course. That could have affected Watford. I think Hughes thought he was going off, and he has gone off, but it's 8 for 19 for Manchester City, or 19 for 8, I should say. So for Gundogan, Gundogan's future still in a little bit of doubt. One German for another. But with Fernandinho coming towards the end of his career, surely would be someone that they would want to keep.
There's also been a little bit of talk about Sane going maybe to Bayern Munich, or Bayern Munich looking at him.
Sane heads on. And it was also 8 and 19 involved for Watford. The ball fizzed across by Andre Gray, trying to pick out Deeney.
A thumbs up from Deeney. It's been hard work for him. He's won a good amount of balls in the air, but he hasn't been able to get hold of it in the right areas. Just can't make up the ground.
Been a little bit unfortunate for Manchester City. This wonderful treble, unprecedented, has been just slightly overshadowed by the fact that all the clubs beneath them in the table are playing in European finals, and City, of course, have not hidden their ambition to be judged on the European stage. It hasn't happened for them in that respect. This semi-final of the Champions League a couple of years ago, being knocked out in the last 2 seasons by fellow English clubs.
Here's the long throw again from Holibas. Successes in and around Deeney. So too Doucouré. Can they get something out of this, Watford?
Anthony does his job. Coupe got to have a swing and hope, really. It wasn't much more than that.
Well, he's had a good season. Coupe done really well for Watford this year in a more defensive role. When he was at Spurs, he played further forward. He's playing very much as the holding midfield player, with Doucouré running beyond him. Now this is one of the, as we look at Hadi Grazia out on the field, when Ederson takes this goal kick, Jesus is standing almost on Aurelio Gomez, and Mariappa's standing beside. There's acres on the field for Ederson to play this into space for Sane.
And that's what he does, in fact, to Sterling. Would have been something that you, as a former coach, Stuart, would have had in your textbook, I think. You can't be offside from a goal kick, so Gabriel Jesus quite entitled to go right upfield, and because you can't be offside, then someone's going to mark him, and then there's a space.
Because Watford were trying to press the ball high up the field. It's 3v3 in half a pitch as Ederson played that forward. That's why Pep Guardiola is the best coach, I think, in the world at the moment. Comes up with different ideas, inventive.
Company. And the bad news for Watford is that he's got a group of players who are never allowed to let up, never allowed to relax. Even when you're 4-0 up, 15 minutes to go in an FA Cup final.
Well, look at the amount of passes that Man City have put together. 457 they've tried to make. Completed most of them. It's going to be a lot more than that come the end of the game. Watford have got tired legs. They don't really want to press the ball now. They don't want to concede any more goals and be played around. Frustrating.
Just how benevolent Pep Guardiola is going to be to his bench. He's got one more change he can make. At least we're assuming it doesn't go to extra time when there is a fourth limited substitute. And John Stones is lingering on the far side there, waiting for the ball to go out of play. Might have quite a long way to City and to keep passing it like this.
What they do, they make the pitch so big. Two wide players stay really wide. There's lots of space in the midfield. The centre-half drops 10-15 yards deeper. Watford can't get anywhere near the ball. Plus they're good technical players and they know the way to pass as well. Roll the ball to each other rather than smashing at them.
Here's Sterling. De Bruyne. Bernardo Silva. Finally was in the Manchester City squad, I'd be saying, look, if you see me ready to come on, be a mate, knock it out so I can get a bit of extra game time. John Stone's been denied, what, 2 or 3 minutes here. And there's no flag. Sane had a look to see whether he was offside or not. And Gomez lets it out, so Manchester City can make their last change.
Substitution for Manchester City.
Well, it's the man who made the breakthrough. David Silva, still very sharp of mind and blessed with technique. And at last, he says, at last, I've got the scoring touch back. Big goal, as it turned out, from a little man who's been a magician for Manchester City.
He's been a magician for a long time for Manchester City. Now a chance for John Stones, who's a little bit surplus to requirements for part of the season. And he's going to play as a holding midfield player here. He's been used in that position before by Pep Guardiola.
Olivas. From success, a strong young man. And Sane coming here has to take drastic action.
It has to be a yellow. Knew exactly what he was doing there. Got caught on the ball by Sane. And just grabs hold of him, grabs the shirt with his right hand, then rugby tackles him with his left.
This is going to be a very long last 10 minutes or so for those in yellow and black. And for him, a man of dignity, who accepts defeat and victory with the same good grace. Bernardo Silva trying to pass through, and it's 5. Raheem Sterling with the kind of goal that he's been getting all season. It's extraordinary to have 5 goals in an FA Cup final.
Well, it's brilliantly worked down the left-hand side, and as he's done so many times this season, Sterling coming round the back, passing it into the net. We talked about crosses in the first half. They haven't got big players, but they work it so well, so they roll balls into the box, roll balls across that 6-yard box, and they get players attacking it. Look at the width that the 2 wide players, or in this case Zinchenko out on the left-hand side, Sterling on the right. Bernardo Silva does everything right. What a great cross. Olivas just turns his back, loses the run of Sterling, and Gomez can't quite get enough on it. Brilliant from Bernardo Silva. Just as good from that man there.
Can I ask you another question? Is Raheem Sterling on a hat-trick?
I would say less so.
We're hearing from official sources that he was given the second goal.
You've answered your own question.
I have, yeah. Here he is. I think he knows he's on a hat-trick. Eight minutes to go. The Footballer of the Year, Raheem Sterling, as voted by the Football Writers Association. The Young Player of the Year, although he is still young, but he's been around a long time. But I said earlier, Stuart, how he's matured as a man. He's certainly matured as a player, and he's in the right team.
Well, let's give credit to some of those Watford supporters. How many times have we seen when one of the big teams are losing? That end is almost empty. The Watford supporters have stayed, so has Gareth Southgate. who's seen his wide man, or sometimes second centre forward, do really well here.
Walker. Oh, well played, the Watford fans. They are an absolute credit to themselves and their club. It's a marvellous response to being on the wrong end of a mauling. And it could get worse. I refer you to 1903 FA Cup final, Bury 6, Derby County 0. Manchester City, all these years later, are looking for number 6 now. Here's Sane.
There's John Stones playing in that holding midfield role.
De Bruyne. There's another gap. Bernardo Silva! And Doucouré saying, where have you all gone? We cannot keep capitulating like this.
Lemonier got across and got a great block in there. He was the only player that was alive to the danger. There's the block. Got himself across from right back. Bernardo Silva about to pull the trigger. He's had a good game again, Bernardo Silva. Great assist for the Sterling goal. Assist with the one, which we don't know who it's quite been given to. How he'd love to score. Vincent Kompany from the set play.
He scored in the League Cup final here last season. Remember, they retained that trophy as well as the Premier League. This will be the first FA Cup win. This will be the first FA Cup win since 2011, when it really started to get going for Manchester City, when the money came in. And he used so wisely, it's over Kompany's head. De Bruyne. Let me tell all of you who are watching, most of you much younger than me, with a lot more football still to watch, this is a very, very special football team with a genius of a coach.
That's what I was going to add. They've got some wonderful players, they've got great spirit, they've got great team understanding. It's all brought together by one of the best coaches we've seen.
Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, yes, it's 6 in the FA Cup final. And Raheem Sterling gets his third. It's history in so many ways here for Manchester City. Almost too much for the man who's set it all up. Modest celebrations. Respect for Watford. Well, a couple of years ago they got 6 against Watford in a Premier League game at Watford, and they've put on a masterclass here, Stuart Robson.
Well, they create the 2v1 in the wide area. Bernardo Silva drags Olibas in. What a cutback it is from Kevin De Bruyne. Aurelio Gomez makes a good save with his bottom hand, but who's alive, who's alert? It's Sterling, just to tap it in, and what a hat-trick we think it's been.
Well, there'll there'll be plenty of debate about the first one, but let me tell you, when Stan Mortensen got his only ever Wembley hat-trick, and the only ever FA Cup final Wembley hat-trick at the old Wembley in 1953, there was a lot of debate about one of those goals as well, which should have been an own goal, would have been an own goal by today's standards.
Well, yes, Manchester City were dominant in the first half, 2-0 up. They started the second half poorly, looked as though Watford were going to get back into the game, and then Pep Guardiola made a decision. I'm going to take off Mahrez, who was one of the best players in the first half. We need to control midfield. I'm going to bring on Kevin De Bruyne, and what an impact he's had.
They cannot believe, even those who see them every week, they're seeing a 6-0 FA Cup final success, and maybe time for what would be the outright biggest margin ever in this wonderful competition, which goes back to the 1870s and often provides great fuel for the underdogs, but not today.
There is the man that's really made it happen since he's come on, Kevin De Bruyne. I think it's fair to agree with Roberto Martinez. He looks fully fit, doesn't he?
It certainly does. He looks like a man trying to make up for lost time on the last day of the season. And Sterling is in again, shouts for handball. Sane's quickly onto it. Jesus, Bernardo Silva and Gomez. Possibly his last catch in professional football. Oh, they're giving Kevin De Bruyne man of the match, and he's only played for, what, 35 minutes? Rather to emphasise your point, Stuart. You didn't actually nominate him, did you?
I certainly didn't nominate him, no. Well, the people that were actually choosing the man of the match had Jesus down to start with, and they changed their mind 2 or 3 minutes ago.
We thought they might have changed their mind to Raheem Sterling, but anyway, here's Holebas. Shot from Cleverley is the one more razor-sharp Manchester City counter-attack. Don't bet against it. Sterling. Well, 7 would have been terrible, even more terrible for Watford. Gomez right to the end. He denies John Stones this time. Watford were nowhere.
A trailing leg as well, just about gets it over the bar. Stones breaking forward from his holding midfield position. You have to have a bit of sympathy for Watford. They always knew it was going to be tough. They had a little go at the start of the second half to try and get themselves back in the game.
They had a big chance at the start of the first half. Sane not going to waste the chance to shoot. There haven't been too many near misses. Well, they're ready for the final whistle, and so are Watford. They couldn't limit the damage. Pep Guardiola stands proud in the technical area, and Manchester City have the treble. The first club ever to do it. Sympathy from one Spaniard to another, and how they have wrapped up the third trophy in huge style. History equaling the biggest margin of victory ever in an FA Cup final, and the biggest ever at Wembley. Old or new, David Silva started it. We didn't really expect what unfolded after that. Raheem Sterling was in the end credited with the second and went on to claim a FA Cup final hat-trick, another rarity. Kevin De Bruyne came on and made such a difference and grabbed the goal as well. Gabriel Jesus too, but as always shared around for Manchester City. Really tough for Watford, but still an extraordinary achievement.
It is. They've had a really tough Premier League battle against Liverpool, but to win 3 domestic cups in the style that they've done it has been absolutely magnificent. Led by that man there, Vincent Kompany.
Manchester City 6, Watford 0.
We've been using the word great for some time.